Getting back to punishment as a way of teaching. Yes, and stories it's done a lot, and in my stories it's done as well. My Sherlock Holmes does take a different angle, a different direction with punishment. He does try to help people that are screwed up. But if they don't want the help, then he has to go for the justice. Sometimes that may mean having to take them out. Sometimes that means having to put them in jail. But he always tries to uplift them in some way, if it's possible. It isn't always possible. A vampire that's trying to rip somebody's throat out and drink their blood, they're not going to listen to reason. A werewolf that's ripping a person's stomach out and eating their lizard, their liver and stuff, they're not going to stop and say, oh, geez, I made a mistake. They're not going to do that. At times like that, you might have to stake them, cut their head off. But that's the fun part of urban fantasy is you got resistance and you got resilience. Sometimes the villains resist, and have to be desisted. And sometimes they become resilient and change and become a force of good. Like Count Dracula. In my stories, he's a good person. He does not drink human blood. And he tries to manage all of the evil in London with a pact that he's created, a law that is watched and obeyed by the citizens of London as well as all the evil creatures. But there's always the oddball out. Just like in America today, there's people that go out and shoot people for no reason or any reason that makes reason. And London, Victorian London, and this world, it's like that. There are some monsters that don't want to follow the rules. And sometimes the monsters are human monsters, not always werewolves and vampires and trolls and troglodytes and weird stuff. So I don't believe that punish a child, and getting back to an earlier story, when I got hurt by my father and he hit me with his belt buckle, I don't think it's the way to help a person. I think it harms the soul of the child. It teaches that it's okay to be violent when you're angry or mad. And I think that's another reason why a lot of writers, probably that you've read, and I know that I write myself, depict a person that's abusive, and then they get corrected. Maybe they learn, maybe they have to be punished severely. But a child, no, you don't punish them severely. You teach them by example. You stayed up all night reading? Really? Why don't we read a book together? That would have been nice, huh? Have your father or mother read a book with you? Well, actually, mine did read books, but they were comic books. But not often and not enough.